Hello everyone, this video focuses on Assume Identity. During this video we're going to explore how you delegate the right to someone to assume your identity that's in your own office. We're also going to see how to assume the identity of someone in your office that has granted you the privilege to assume their identity. Let's take a look at this functionality. Since Assume Identity is part of how your Paragon will work for you, you'll find the setting for Assume Identity underneath Preferences. So by clicking on Preferences, move down and to the left and click on User. Inside the User area, notice on the left-hand side it says Assume Identity. Do a left mouse click in order to go into the Assume Identity page. On the Assume Identity page, notice at the top it says Add. So I can add someone that can assume my identity. When that requirement is done, I can delete them. Let's click on Add. As I click on Add, I'm going to have displayed for me a list of people that are in my office. I can check several different people, and by clicking on Save, they get added to my list of who can assume my identity. And that's how simple it is to assign the right to assume an identity. And for whatever reason, when I'm done, and I no longer need them to assume my identity, I can check the box, click on Delete. Paragon confirms that, do I want to delete that particular person? I do. And now I've updated the list of people who can assume my identity. Moving back to my home page, if I want to assume the identity of someone in my office, I move up to the Assume Identity button in the top center of the page. With a left mouse click, I then see a list of all those people who've said, Gary, you can assume my identity. By coming over and choosing a particular person, notice the green highlight, I click on Assume. Paragon then gives me a warning, indicating that if I continue on, any information that has not been saved will be lost. I'm going to continue forward and clicking on OK, I go ahead and assume the identity of that person in my office. Now, once I've assumed that person's identity, I am in working on their behalf. If I were to print out flyers or brochures, it would then have the assumed agent's identity, not my identity, as a part of that branding. If I set up automatic email notifications or send out emails, it would have the agent's identity, not mine, branded in those items. Once you've assumed somebody's identity, you can work on their behalf in all areas except for one. As someone who's assumed somebody else's identity, I cannot grant to other people the right to assume this agent's identity. Other than that, I can go in, work with their searches, their contacts, their CMAs, do everything on their behalf. Now, another nice thing is that when you assume somebody's identity, it does not count towards the number of times they can be logged into the same Paragon system. And that is how you work with Assume Identity and some of the privileges associated with it.